So here's the Narukami sweep command deck profile that I have. There's like 2 cards, well I guess 3 cards missing, but I should be getting them. It's just my friends were unable to get them to me this weekend, so I'm running 2 of the Eradicator. Was it First Thunder Draco Kid, I believe? Basically his skill, if you don't know what it does, is when something's retired and you have an Eradicator Vanguard, grade 3 or greater, you're allowed to shove this into your soul and then check the top 10 cards of your deck and superior write a sweep command. Normally this wasn't as good because there weren't ways to really abuse this. It would just be potentially used for a superior break write if you wanted to, but that's usually not the best option. Now we're allowed to superior write in the battle phase because of new support in set 2, or G set 2. So for the triggers, 4 heal. Oh, there's also 2 because someone might retire it, so you might want to have that extra copy in deck, just in case. Yeah, so the 4 heal, 4 draw, and 8 criticals. I like to mix and match my crits for mind games. And then onto the grade 1s, I'm running 3 of the Eradicator on Flipper. It's a shame it doesn't work in the battle phase, but that would make voltage even more ridiculous. I actually would probably only be running 2 of these, but I only have 3 of the Stride enablers. So for now, it's just a placeholder until I get the 4th, since I haven't seen a lot of these pulled either. Despite me going into was it about 12 sneaks plus some of my friends, so yeah, we just weren't that lucky with that. And then continuing with the grade 1s, I'm running 3 Shuki. It combos really well with my grade 2s. It's not what I'm relying on because it doesn't always go off. It's just really nice to have the option of having a really good hitting column though, because it becomes a 10k booster if you can get a skill off. Especially like with a sweep command or something on ride, if you end up riding it. So at least it makes your units do something. But honestly, it's mostly there for the Eradicator name, because I know people run the Egg Helm, but honestly, I don't feel like the need to run it, since the grade 3s I run rarely need limit break. I mean, sweep command's probably the only one who has the limit break that's more essential to get off earlier game, if I can. But yeah, so 4 perfect guards, pretty standard. And what makes the sweep command play possible are the voltage horns. Basically, they allow you to retire a rear guard in the battle phase for a counterblast 1 at G-Break 1. While it's boosted, like the Amber clones. So basically, you're allowed to attack with your Vanguard, attack with this, use its skill, retire something, use the starter skill, and hopefully superior ride into a sweep command, allowing you to get off 2 Vanguard attacks that turn, which is still a plus because you should be using your starter or something and turn that into an extra 2 drive checks, so that's 5 drive checks that turn, which is more than like a Vic Plasma or something would be able to do, which is kind of nice. And the fact that you did retire something, and you can actually use sweep commands still if you really wanted to. But yeah, because you're also getting all the nice benefits of stride and everything too. Continuing with the grade 2s, I actually don't remember his name, but he's basically the 11k attacker. Can't attack rear guards though, but when he attacks the Vanguard, gains +3, and on hit you counterblast, and you're allowed to bind cards from the drop zone, which is really nice because it disrupts like Legion and stuff. And it also allows you to draw a card, so there's card advantage with that card too. So basically it turns into one of those cards that you don't want to hit, and when you use the Stride Conquest, it turns it into a 21 column if they have no front row, unboosted, which is really nice. And you might be able to draw cards on that turn too. And then rounding off the grade 2s, I'm currently right now running 3 Sparkhorn. I know Cho is a pretty popular option. It does help with Shuki skill, and like if you would just call like a draw trigger early game, you can eat it and kill one of their front row too. But I feel like with the grade 3s I run, Spark Rain is probably much more useful, only because of the less commitment I have to do with my board. with that or the 11k attacker here to just have columns that can hit a Vanguard very easily without committing too much. And then this is where the cards that are missing are. This would be 2 more sweep commands, but I don't actually have them right now. Like I said, I'll be getting them soon. Should be before this Friday, or on this Friday anyway, but which is when I see them next. Yeah, so sweep command, like I said, combos with the starter. You basically just stride, retire something with the voltage horn, use a skill, superior ride. If you want to use his skills, you can, because it is on ride, and you are at limit break, or you should probably be at limit break by that point. If not, it's fine. You still get like a Cho'o skill, so it's not too bad. But sweep command is just there for the superior ride. The other half of the deck is, or the other half of the grade 3s is probably your finishers and whatnot. So I'm running 2 Descendant. I see 3 being the popular choice, but me personally, I left the room open for 2 Tempest Bolts. I really like Tempest Bolt. He's a really good standalone card if you just can't stride, or if you really need to just nuke the board because you're playing against something like Aqua Force and they just overcommitted. You can punish them and still swing very hard. So that way it makes it harder for them to recommit, which is really nice. And then Descendant's there for basically your last resort of when you run out of like conquest and stuff with all that pressure. You can just ride into Descendant. They should probably be crippled severely in hand size by that time because of all the guarding they had to do. And you just go in for the finish with Descendant, and that's why there's so many Eradicator names in this deck. And you just finish with him because he's only a Counterblast 1. It's very cheap. And if you really wanted to, you could have special Counterblast 2 for the 5 and just really pressure them out. Especially since you have really good rear guards. Like I was saying, the Spark Rain, you can just cheaply call a Spark Rain, have Descendant, not have to call too much, and you still get a decent field pressure other than the Vanguard, and you save cards in hand. And yeah, that's kind of why I like these options here. But yeah, that's basically the entire deck. Nothing too fancy, just the whole superior ride being a thing. And that's basically getting carried by the G zone before you, or well, not before, just during the whole play of this deck, really. So I'll just show one Blizza, because I do like the one tech Blizza. It comes in handy. You never know when you really need that push, or you're just out of G units, and this could just basically swing for huge numbers against your opponent. And then I'm running 3 Zoros, I believe his name was. Yeah, so basically his skill was on hit, your opponent chooses a rear guard and they retire it, like the kind of like a ignition break red skill or whatever. But yeah, so on top of that, you get to disrupt their drop zone. You get a permabind in 2 of their rear guard, or I mean 2 of their units in the drop zone. So if they play Legion or something, either drop zone heavy, or well, yeah, I guess that's basically the only things they'll be hitting. Legion decks, or maybe anything that can shove things back to the deck, because a Neo Nectar can actually do that too. They can shove units from their drop zone to the deck. But yeah, so you basically hit 2 important units out of the drop zone, which is really good against things like the Cross. You hit one of their grade 3 mates or their Legion leaders, or you hit one of the maybe random Dragonic Overlords in the drop zone so they can't burn out, or just the triggers so they can't keep spamming Re-Legions. And then to round it off, we have the 4 of the G Persona units. The Conquest Dragon, his skill is basically a G Persona flip, and you can retire one of their front row, and then you give your rear guards plus 5,000 for every open front row your opponent has. So like I was saying, that combos with like Spark Rain or the 11k attacker to make for 21, 22 columns unboosted. Don't need to commit too hard in the back if you cannot afford to, and it just really adds that pressure because of all the high number hitting you do, especially with the 11k attacker, because you can draw, which I don't know if they'd really want you to be drawing on top of all of this. And you're also retiring a unit, so you're basically getting a lot of shield out of their hand no matter what that turn, and killing a rear guard. It's a pretty cheap cost too, so it's really good. And it's basically what Narukami like to do. They like to bully. Yeah, so that's basically the entire deck. See you guys.